Hi, this is Bob, and this is episode 9 of Seize the Grom, in which I ride my Grom down to Southeast Edwardsville and also share some what I'm calling personal history number 1. That's just number 1 means the first time I've shared some personal history. I found out I could get the Grom out of the garage without moving my car out, so this is the first time I have actually pulled the Grom down the driveway into the street, driving it down the driveway into the street. Now I'm skipping over the driving on the streets that I already drove on in earlier episodes. So the video is me starting off on Franklin heading east. And the kids are just getting out of school. Now, for anybody getting their first motorcycle and learning how to ride a motorcycle for the first time in their life would be exciting enough in itself, but for me it's extra special because I had discontinued what had been my passion in life. This was in October, and had my eye out for, try to figure out what's going to be the new passion in my life. And then I remembered last year being so excited about motorcycles and taking that class, but I didn't own a motorcycle. I didn't think I could afford to buy one, and I guess I had kind of a shift in my thinking, though. It seemed like old friends were starting to drop like flies all around me, and that's the kind of thing where you start thinking of that expression, seize the day, enjoy your life while you're here, you don't know how many days you got left. And that's where that Seize the Grom name came from. I decided it was time to go ahead and spend some of my retirement savings and get myself a motorcycle if that was going to improve the quality of my life. While I was trying to figure out what motorcycle I wanted to get, I watched about 1 million YouTube videos, and one of the things I found I really enjoyed were videos where guys just would take off on their motorcycle and be yakking while they're driving, while they're riding. I knew in the past I enjoyed making videos and uploading them to YouTube, and I knew that pretty soon I'd be taking my very first ride on my new motorcycle, and I thought this would be kind of a cool thing to have, sort of a diary of videos of my rides. And when I say a cool thing, I don't mean for other people necessarily. I just was going to do this for myself, and I'm continuing to just do it for myself, basically. So I've never really thought about too much about who the audience for these videos might be, or if there even is an audience for these videos. And this kind of leads me into another thing I wanted to talk about, which is that it's kind of an ironic thing here with this Seize the Grom channel, in that it's a very public thing. Nothing private about having a public channel on YouTube. So what's ironic about it for me is that all of this has been kind of a sort of a secret in that I haven't mentioned it to anybody that I know in real life. My friends know I bought a motorcycle and that I'm learning to ride and that I've been going for rides, but I haven't told anybody that I created a new YouTube channel and that I've been uploading episodes about these motorcycle rides on my new Grom. I think part of what's led to this is I had two different aspects of my old passion. Let's say I started off as a widget designer, and then at some point I had a change where I decided I would be a widget maker, and then that's most of my life. Everybody knew me as a widget maker, and then more recently, I had decided I wanted to go back to being a widget designer again, and there was this kind of a thing where everybody already knew me as a widget maker, and so I became the guy that's like, well, he's a widget maker, but now he thinks he's trying to be a widget designer, you know, when that's what I was in the first place, but they didn't know me back then. And I guess my point here is that people perceive you based on how they've known you up to that point. And if you find yourself at a point in your life where you feel like you need to reinvent yourself to get away from everybody else's preconceived notions of who you are and what you might be, you almost might consider relocating to another city where nobody knows you, where you could really get a fresh start. But the thing is, I'm not at all the kind of person who's gonna relocate to another city where I will miss my friends and family, etc. You know, once I had uploaded that first episode and hadn't mentioned anything about it to any of my friends yet, I realized that there was an aspect of that felt kind of like being in a new place where nobody knows you. Nobody who encounters what they see there has any idea, any preconceived notions about who you are, because they don't know you. And in the past, when I'd uploaded videos to YouTube, I would always notify everybody I knew about it. Hey, check out this video. And that was just the opposite. And I guess maybe that's where that other thing comes into play, because now people were seeing, the widget maker with all the videos of his widget making. Now he's got videos of him being a widget designer, videos of him trying to be a widget designer. What's up with this? We don't know if this is cool or not. We're used to seeing his videos where he's a widget maker, you know. So somehow it has felt right for me to continue to make these Seize the Grom motorcycle ride videos without mentioning anything about it to anybody that I know. And I guess I believe that any feedback I might get, either positive or negative, about any of these videos is going to be more honest, because anybody commenting, anybody, they don't know me, so they don't have any preconceived notions about any expectations. And I guess it really helps for me to feel like this whole effort for me to kind of be reinventing myself to some extent is more authentic as a result of this. In reality, it's just a psychological head trip that I'm having, so it's not a big deal, but and I know, chances are sooner or later it won't be a secret anymore, and I don't know exactly how I feel about that, or I really haven't thought that through in any kind of way. It really won't matter much one way or the other, I guess, but right now it it feels special in that it's this, personal project of mine, and I hope eventually when it's if the cat's out of the bag at some point, that it doesn't somehow take away from what feels special about it to me. Mostly I'm really enjoying riding the motorcycle, and I'm really glad to be creating this video diary of my riding that I can come back and look at later and remember what a special time this is for me, learning to ride and all that. So I guess that concludes what I was referring to as personal history number 1. It's very recent history and current history. Background information on what's going on right now. This is the coldest ride so far. It was only 37 degrees out there, and I was wearing layers. I was starting off okay. My neck was cold. I stopped and made sure my zipper was all the way up as high as it could go. The problem before I finally made it home was my fingers were really getting cold. And speaking of clothes, I'm kind of excited because I've finally decided what kind of jacket I wanted to get and ordered it, and it's supposed to get here the day after tomorrow. It's bright yellow, high-vis yellow, like my helmet. My helmet is, I got the week before the Grom got delivered, so I wanted to have a helmet right out of the starting gate. And it's a high-vis helmet made by Scorpion. That I really like, and the jacket is made by Icon, and it's called the Contra 2, and it's high-vis yellow, and it's really a summer jacket, so I'm gonna have to wear layers underneath it till the weather warms up. But mostly I wanted something that was gonna make me as visible as possible, and also I wanted something with protection. And after I had read about the D30 armor, I was pretty impressed with that, and decided I wanted to try to get some D30 armor in whatever I bought. And so basically this was not only a really nice looking jacket and looks like it's well made, but it's got elbow, shoulder, and back D30 armor, so I'm gonna feel a little safer wearing that. That D30 armor is the Type 1, so it's not the ultimate in protection. They've got that Type 2 that's the higher rated. But for my budget, this was a pretty good deal. I looked at the prices of the D30. If you bought the parts by themselves, each elbow $25, each shoulder $25, so there's $100, and the back was would have been another 30, so that's $130 if you bought just the armor. So that Contra 2 at $250 for the jacket is actually 130 for the armor and 120 for the jacket without the armor, the jacket itself. Only 120. So when I looked at it that way, it looked like a pretty good bargain. But the other thing too, I was looking for the highly visible yellow jacket, and most of the jackets, when I searched for yellow jackets, would be black jackets with just little bits of yellow trim. I was looking for a jacket to where almost the entire jacket was yellow. One of the video reviews I saw of that jacket showed that they sew into one of the pockets of every one of their jackets a little St. Christopher's medal, which I'm not Catholic. I don't know about that stuff. I looked it up, and he's like the patron saint of travelers or something like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. Even though, like I say, I'm not religious myself, but I thought that was kind of cool. So here's something that just pops into my mind about riding at faster speeds. I think it was my episode 2 video, which was my very first day of riding. I was going up and down the street in first gear, going about 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. And I mentioned that I was thinking in terms of the way a musician needs to play something slowly before they're ready to try to play it fast. But one of the things I forgot about is on a bike or a motorcycle with the turning wheel, you've got that gyroscopic effect so that the bike becomes more stable the faster you go. And so it's actually harder to ride slow, I guess, than it would, it's going to require more control and finesse to ride slow than to ride fast. But the trouble is, now I'm noticing, and this is kind of funny because I didn't think of myself as being someone who would be seduced by speed. I'm a very conservative automobile driver. I drive kind of slower than most people. I get some grief about that from friends and relatives. Anyway, but I'm already finding myself wanting to go faster. This is kind of almost slightly embarrassing, for me. But I need to, so each ride I'm thinking, well, I want to see if I can go a little faster than than my top speed on my last ride. But I know that as a new rider, I need to be practicing slow riding, since that's where I actually need the finer skills. Anyway, there's that. Boy, I sure am looking forward to some warmer weather. It's so frustrating now having this new bike, and but it being the middle of the winter time and too cold to ride. Well, I think I've been a little overzealous with these early episodes, feeling like I need to get every minute of my ride in there if I can. So now I've, one thing I did is try to cut out the part that duplicated an earlier episode. So that's kind of tightened it up a little bit. But I think now, starting with the next episode, I'm going to just focus on my ride from that point out to wherever I turn around. There just need to be a round trip in here. He's here too long. These episodes are too long. So pretty soon here, I'll be coming back up to that intersection of Franklin and Madison where this one started, and that'll be the end of this ride. And here at the tail end, I actually ride into my driveway, up to the top of my driveway, similar to how I started this ride earlier.